Welcome to another episode of Love Letters Live, the podcast where we, three girls in our 20s, sit down with married women to hear about how they found their love stories. I'm Annie here with Kate and Elizabeth, and today we're so excited to introduce to you one of my best friends, Katie's grandma. She has been married for 60 years, and can't wait to hear all about her love story. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Annie. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad, Katie, and you thought about including me. I grew up basically on the East Coast of the United States, and also spent summers at my grandparents' cottage that they had up in Ontario, Canada. My career basically has been regarding helping others. I was a nursery school teacher. I worked at a camp. I worked in human relations with adults at a school. And then I helped older adults later in my life, in my career, helping them with some issues that they might have had. So it's all been about helping people.
And I think that shows like what type of caring person you are, Gwen. So
Thank you.
You and your husband, Alan, have been together for 60 years. So tell us how you met him and what it was like when you first met.
Okay. Well, it was, I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was in charge of a picnic at the college where I was attending, and his parents were the advisors for the group, and they said that their son might be joining us for the picnic. I said, okay, fine. And halfway through the picnic, this tall figure comes down the hill toward this pavilion, and I introduced myself, and he said who he was. And, I handed him his picnic, and we just sort of started talking. And I guess I knew I was falling in love with him because there was magic in that first smile. Oh. So it was just amazing. And as the picnic progressed, he asked if he could give me a lift back to the campus. And so we sat, and then he called up later and asked if he could have my address so he could write to me. And as they say, the rest is history.
That's so cute. Did you know as soon as you saw him that he was the one, or did it take you a little while to be like, oh, wait, I like this man?
Oh, no, it didn't take long at all. It was that. And he still has that wonderful smile. So, I'm the luckiest person on the face of the earth. I just knew. And I think he felt the same way. I was a junior in college at the time. And so after I graduated was when we got married. And so we had a good, almost a year and a half of getting to know each other. But it wasn't long after that he asked me to marry him. And so it was just wonderful.
Did you guys date while you were in college, or did you wait till day after you graduated?
No, we dated while I was in college and he was working in the city. So that, we didn't see each other very much, well, maybe once a week, once every other week. And then during the summer, we could see each other a little bit more because I didn't have classes. So it just worked.
So he was a bit older than you. How much older was he?
Yeah. When we met, he was almost 5 years older than me. So it was a good age range at that point, but it has never been a problem.
No, I agree. I always joke with my friends and say date a little bit older because they're more mature.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was very true. Very true. And I suppose one of the factors why we have had such a long, happy relationship is that both of our parents were married over 50 years. So we had role models, and our grandparents were in long married relationships. So, it's not always a predictor, but it could be a factor in how you view lifelong relationships and commitments.
So did you always know that you wanted to be married at that age because you grew up like that?
Well, I think back then, I mean, we're talking about the 1950s and 60s. So back then, it was not unusual for women to get married either after high school or after college, or after, I mean, it was the rare instance when a woman was accepted into medical school. So it was usually after college that a number of women would get married.
How long was your engagement period? Did you get married straight away? Did you have a long engagement?
We were engaged almost a year and a half, I'd say. And we were married. I graduated June 1st, and we were married 2 weeks later.
No way.
Wow. So you dated for a while, but as soon as you got engaged, you were ready to walk down the aisle.
Oh, yes. I was, if I'd been already out of college, it would have been a shorter engagement, but I needed to finish college, and I'm glad I did. We're both glad I did. And here we are 60 plus years later.
Could you tell us a little bit about your proposal?
It was in February, and it was around Valentine's Day, but it wasn't exactly on Valentine's Day. And when he asked me to marry him, of course, he told me he was madly in love with me. And I said, well, I loved him very much. And he gave me this beautiful mother of pearl heart. And he said, we'll look at rings later. And I said, whoa. So that was how that all started. And, so it was in February, and then it was a year that June that we got married. So we were engaged in 1963 and married in 1964.
Were honeymoons like a thing back then? Like, were those, I guess, as extravagant as they are nowadays? Or is it more
Well, the weddings were not. No, weddings were not. They were very, had a lot of friends there. And then the reception was just a lovely, simple, it was like a tea party. And it was in the afternoon. It was like high tea. And that might ring a bell for somebody there.
I love that.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah. And then we went to Bermuda for our honeymoon.
And then you had your amazing family.
Right. We have 2 lovely daughters, one of whom you know well, and the other one I think you may have met.
Yes.
Jenny's sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Karen. I loved her.
Yeah. So it's just been wonderful. It's just been lovely.
Going back to, you said that your husband would write you letters. He wanted your address because he wanted to write you notes. Could you elaborate more on that and say, like, what did that entail? Like, what did those letters look like?
Oh, they were long because since he was working full time, he didn't have a lot of time to write letters. So he would write several letters during the week, and they were long letters, and he had very small handwriting. So it took me a while to read them. But I wrote him every day, and it was just lovely. And I still have those letters.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You have had the most amazing 60 years, and 60 years of marriage. That is an incredible milestone that many do not get to say. What do you think is the key to maintaining a strong and lasting relationship?
Well, it's helpful if you not only love each other, but if you like each other.
Yes, you have to.
And trust is right up there. Trust is hugely important. And it's important to laugh with the person, just keep a sense of humor and have some shared interests. We like hiking, and we like going to the beach, and we like going to sports events. And, it's just important to do things that are fun and not related to a professional life.
What are some things that you like to do for fun? I know that Katie and your family is very involved in the summer camp. Was that a big thing that you guys did for fun and to reconnect?
We did that, and we are still connected with the camp, and that camp is getting ready to celebrate 95 years of existence this summer. So that's been fun to keep in touch with that. For a long time, I was in a community chorus, and my husband was wonderful about supporting me in that because it meant a lot of rehearsals, and he always came to the concerts, which was great. And the other thing I do still is be involved in a women's book club. And he's very involved in the sports things, and he still likes to walk a lot and just stay connected and make new friends. We're in a retirement community now, so we have opportunities to meet people from all over the country. So it's just, we're just take opportunities as they come.
Yes, I think that's another thing is never say no to things and always be open to new experiences, which I think has been a big part in what has kept your marriage last so
Absolutely
long, full of love.
And we've been very privileged to have friendships with people, a nice diversity of people, and I think that's very important to be open to friendships as they come.
I agree. Changing gears here. While marriage is not always rainbows and butterflies, they do have some challenges. And in your 60 years, have you had tough times? Has there been tough times? And if so, how did you get through them as a couple and together?
Well, I think I can look back at one time when my husband was unemployed for several months. And that was a tough time. But we faced it together, and we were looking for opportunities. I think it was important at that point not to cling to the past, to learn from it, and to keep good memories. And fortunately for us, it was a short-lived unemployment, but I think that's what kept us going.
Was this at a point when you had kids, or was it before that?
Yes. We had one daughter was in college and one was in high school.
Oh, wow.
But we did it, and here we are. But I think you can face things if you face them together. I know you've probably heard this said, but if you're grilling and you have a charcoal grill and you take one of the briquettes out and put it by itself, it goes out. But if it stays in with all the other briquettes, it continues to burn. And I think that if you don't try to go it alone, if you stay together, you can accomplish things.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that. I've never heard that.
Yeah. Well, do you think that your marriage rekindled or resparked after you were empty nesters and you got to live under just you two under the same roof? Did you go and travel the world more? Did your marriage get more alive after your two daughters left the house?
The house was awfully quiet.
Yeah.
But I think we found travel easier to do. We had some fabulous trips to Africa, to Australia, New Zealand, Great Britain several times, and travel in the United States. And so we found a lot of things to do, and it just enriched our experience, and we met more people, and it was nice to be able to share those travel experiences when we got back. It was a change in our lifestyle, but it was because we were not attending sports events. We were not going to school events. We were not doing that kind of thing with the girls, but we were doing other things with them. And it's all been good.
Do you have a place that you've traveled to in the later years that has stood out to you, or a place that's a very special spot to you as a couple?
Well, I think we started going down to Bethany Beach, and that has become a very special place for us. And we still get back down there from time to time.
I've always wanted to go. Katie has told me nothing but good things. Like, I bet it's an amazing place for you two as a couple, because when I see Katie talk about Bethany Beach, her just face and smile lights up. And I can know, and
Yeah.
I've seen that she has that amazing smile too that resonates. And what made you fall in love with Alan?
Yeah, exactly. She has a great smile, for sure.
Nearing the end of our podcast, it's been so fun and quick talking to you, but we're three single girls. We're all 22. So for those of us in our 20s trying to navigate love, what advice would you give for building a lasting relationship?
Wow, that's, when you sent me the questions and I've been thinking about it, I thought, what would the advice be? And I think the first thing is to trust yourself, and then to have fun and be spontaneous. When you're in a relationship, see red flags if they appear, and beware of exclusivity.
What are some red flags that you would say to watch out for?
Well, if someone wants your attention exclusively, and they don't like you wanting to go and do things with your friends, to not be with them 110%,
Right,
if you
like
will.
they isolate you.
Right. Yeah, beware of that. That's probably the big thing. Just a control issues, that sort of thing. It's just a red flag. Something to pay attention to. It could be some momentary, temporary thing that they're going through. And if that's the case, then it'll disappear. It'll be over. And if you try to talk with them about something and they get very defensive about it, that could be a reason. You need to look into that. Have fun. Just enjoy each other. Not take them for granted, and don't let them take you for granted. That would be a red flag.
Yeah,
If they expect you to always be there and always doing what they want to do, oh, okay, you're taking me for granted.
Yeah.
This is not good. And I suppose it's, at the end of the day, respect and trust in each other is how love grows. I guess. I mean, is what I'm saying making any sense to you? I mean,
oh yeah,
you're 22 and I'm 82.
No, this is honestly some of the best advice that I've ever gotten. So.
And I feel like we are really looking to you as the expert, because you have the best
please
60 years where that's what we're trying to do.
Yes.
Well, exactly. And I hope I think you will find it, because you're looking and you're exploring and you're open to it, and who knows when it'll find you.
I know, that's the most exciting thing. Everyone says you get it when you least expect it. So I'm trying to not expect anything.
Well, it is true. It is true. I mean, I was not, I was expecting this person to come for a picnic. Okay, fine. Well, we've got plenty of food. It was not a big expectation on my part. And then, wow, that smile. I was like, okay, all right. I'm so glad he came. And do you know, I found out later why he came late to the picnic, because he was home at their house. He come up to visit on his day off. He was home watching the World Series. So if they'd gone into extra innings, we might not have met.
Wow.
Who knows?
I think.
Yes. And see, that's the thing that we laugh about. So it's important to laugh about things. It's just, some people could have gotten all bent out of shape and worried. Oh my gosh, what about this? No. Laugh about it. Laugh.
I love that.
It helps so much to laugh.
Oh no.
So
I think, and it's so special because now Katie is one of the biggest baseball fans that I know. And I think one of the reasons why she loves it is because it made such an impact on your love story.
Oh, yeah. Well, we took the children and grandchildren as often as we could. And it is fun. And it's nice to share that. I suppose the simple things are how you get to really know somebody. Just taking a picnic and going hiking to the waterfalls, or, just hiking out to the beach and going out and building a sandcastle. It's just the little things are things where memories are built, and the big things too. I'm not knocking the big things, but it's the simple things that will hold you together.
No, that's so funny because I always tell and like joke with my girlfriends. I'm like, I don't know why guys don't take me out. I don't want a steakhouse dinner. I just want them to take me to beer and pizza. Like, that's all I want, just the little things, because I think like that's what girls want. We just enjoy doing the small and little things. And to be honest, that's what matters the most. And
Exactly. And if that's what matters to you, then that's important of what to follow.
yes.
And if your friends or the guy is trying to impress you by doing big stuff, what's wrong with why are you avoiding not doing the little things? What's the deal? So I don't know.
I agree. No, and
But
I think the little things are what you're going to be doing with them every day. You're not going to be going and doing all the fancy, expensive things every day. That's unrealistic. You want to see how they act day to day.
Right. I mean, some evenings we don't turn the TV on. We sit and play a game.
Yeah.
We play Scrabble. We play chronology. Just enjoy each other's company.
I love that.
And that's what you're looking for. It's not, as you say, it's not all going to be expensive dinners. It's going to be the quiet times too, the down times. I mean, I just feel like I have really enjoyed this conversation with you, Annie, and Elizabeth and Kate. I hope it's been fun for you too.
I loved it. This has been such an amazing episode. It's definitely, I think, going to be one of my favorites that we do. So thank you again for sharing your beautiful love story with us today. And everyone listening, thank you for tuning into our second episode. We can't wait to share more love stories with you, and stay tuned for next week.